Pyari Mother.
Yeah. So we'll just read this kalam while we are waiting for friends to gather. This is beautiful kalam, necklace of pearls, on the auspicious occasion of the arrival of Mawlānā Shāh Rahīm al-Ḥusaynī. And we are celebrating, listening to Faramins of current Joma, Mawlānā Shāh Rahīm al-Ḥusaynī Hazrimam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Mawlānā Hazrimam blessed the France Jamaat with the Didar, and we are so blessed to listen to those Faramins. So this was, of course, written in Mawlānā Shah Karim's time. But let us read this kalam and enjoy the beautiful praises of Imam. वो मुक़द्दस, वो मुतहर, वो इमाम, जानशीने मुस्तफ़ा आली मकाम, देख लो उसको खुदा के हुक्म से, आलमे मलकूत करता है सलाम। नूर यज़दान है वो औलादे अली, नूर यज़दान है वो औलादे अली, जिसका दुनिया कर रही है एहतराम। जो निगाहे इश्क में एक जलवा है, आसमाने हुस्न का माहे तमाम। जो मसीहाए ज़मान है वो तबीब, जिसका दर्शन ज़ख्मे दिल का इल्तियाम। वो खुदाए पाक का है जिंदा घर, हाजियाने इश्क का बैतुल हराम। वारिसे इल्मे नबी सुल्तान दीन, बाद अहमद है वही खैरुल अनाम। गंज कुरान का जो है खाजिन वही, रहनुमाए जानिबे दारुस्सलाम। जिसकी मिदहत है कलामे पाक में, क्यों ना उसको याद कर लूं सुबह शाम। मैं भी एक साइल हूँ मौला, एक नजर इस तरफ कर ए करीमे खास व आम। कुछ चहल कदमी करो और मुस्कुराओ, मेरे बाग दिल में आकर खुश व खराम। ये तबस्सुम है कि जादुए हलाल, फूल है या आ गए जन्नत के जाम। तेरी उल्फत भी क्या अक्सीर है, जिससे हम कुंदन हुए और शाद काम। मंजिले मकसूद आई है करीब, साथियों आगे चलो बस चंद गाम। सुबह सुबह अनवर का तुलू है ए नसीर, जाग उठना अब हुआ वक्ते क़याम। Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. So those who do not understand Urdu, I hope you were reading the English translation. This is from Anwar-e Qiyamah, and it is such a beautiful kalam. Alhamdulillah, we have beautiful singers. One day we will request them to read this beautiful kalam for us. All right, let me go to my slides. All right, so we will continue with our tradition of discussing Faramins. Alhamdulillah, it is truly mercy of Mawla that we had started this journey during COVID time, that Ashiqeen of Mawla gathered, and on daily basis we would have classes, more than one classes some days, and we would discuss Faramins. And keeping with that tradition, we continue to discuss, our Imam's Faramin. But currently we are blessed with Mawlānā Hazrat Imam's Farman, and I said, let us, review some of the points. And we started to talk about it in our Gujarati class. Mawlānā Hazrat Imam being the manifestation, the mazhar of Khudawan Ta'ala, the Noor of Allah, the wasila, the intercessor of Khuda Ta'ala, who has taken a human form to come to us to guide us. we are truly blessed to be in Bayat of Imam, that he gives us hidayat according to the time, because we are children of time, Ibnul Waqt, as Imam in his 40th Jama has said, that we are Ibnul Waqt. So it is truly mercy of Imam that we have living Hazir or Mawjood guide who guides us according to the time. So Alhamdulillah. And the reason this was, we had this topic of manifestation, because there were some questions about Mawlānā Hazir Imam saying Yali Madad, or in the past, Mawlānā Shāh Karim has said that I pray from Allah. And the discussion was that one concept is of Noor and other is his Zahurat, his manifestation, his Sarup. So when Mawlānā Hazir Imam says Mawla Ali Madad, he's referring to the Noor of Allah, which manifested as Ali, and who is the Asas Imam of the sixth cycle. So one is the light and other is the personality. So we always have to keep in mind that Jama changes, but the light remains same, and he can refer to the light in whatever ways. And we understand that concept. So beautiful Quranic verse which teaches us that how he is every day in new shan. Every day he is in new splendor. Yas'alu man fis samawati wal ars kulla yawmin huwa fishan. So this is the part, kulla yawmin huwa fishan, that he every day is in new shan. So day is referring to the Jama here, and every day, there are very many tawilat. Day has more than one tawil, but here we are referring to Imam changing his Jama, and every day he is in his new manifestation. And we are truly blessed to have Imam, a living guide, to guide us, bless us with his duashes, and help us to walk on the path of Sirat al-Mustaqim. We also discussed that Maula Bapa, when we look at him, he's younger, and some may not understand and see in the light of knowledge and Iman, but he is Malike Du Jahan. He is the Aka, he is the master of this universe. This light is encompassed in this physical body. And that's why our peers have said, right? Ek kach fikar munivaramne tamari, maras rupe sahib januji. So it is a test when Jama changes. And, sometimes we, or some I should say, struggle because of lack of knowledge, that, the Jama changes, then experience is different or less. In whatever context, we hear comments here and there. It is Imam Zaman, it is the same light, it is the same Noor of Khuda, which is Zahir in Imam Zaman. So he is Malik Du Jahan. He may look like us, a man, but he's an Insan Kamil, he's a perfect man. And the whole universe is under him. Alhamdulillah. So now let us start with the reflections of Faramin of New Joma. And I picked up just one Farman because we've been listening to different Faramis. And there is lots of reflections which we need to do. So I'm just going to kind of warm up today with first session. And inshallah, we'll see how do we want to go about it. So we continue to reflect on Imam's Hidayat. Imam, when he gives us Faramin, it is as if that he, the way in 40th Jama, Imam says, when I open up my mouth to give you Farman, it is as if tumko jawahirat dete hain, right? Pearls and jewels are given to us. Why? Because he himself is the pearl of intellect, gohore akal. When he gives us the Faramin, it is from that gohore akal that we are receiving these, hire and jawahirat, gems and jewels, if we really understand it. So we are those Johari, those jewelers who are gathered to really reflect and understand what Imam is giving us, and are we really recognizing, understanding? And remember we may be just on the surface today. We have to continue to reflect and understand and unfold the meanings, because there is just not one tawil, two tawil, there is tawilat. So we have to continue to reflect and seek Imam's mercy and his guidance to help us understand. So first thing that he gives us duashes and he says thank you to us. And actually somebody picked it up and actually asked that, can you imagine Maula Bapa is saying thank you to us? And my answer was that it is his ajizi. In current Joma, younger Joma, connecting to the younger Jamaat, Maula Bapa is saying thank you, shaking hands, and doing gestures which are, stranger probably for the older Jamaat. But remember that when Maula Bapa says thank you to us, he does not need to. He does not need to. Why does he do that? He's teaching us. Remember, he's our teacher too. He's teaching us humility. So we have to understand that, Maula Bapa, when he says thank you, it is truly his mercy that he gives us didar, and we are able to get to the didar. It is only blessing for us. But it is Maula's ajizi that he says thank you to us. He says that I'm happy to see you. It's my pleasure to see you. Can you imagine that? Truly, it is our, blessing and his mercy. Maula Bapa, the way he gave us my special, most affectionate, loving blessings. We have to realize that it is us, only the Ismaili Jamaat, who gets these special blessings, not the humanity. And we have to realize why that difference, that distinction, because Imam is Imamun Nas as well as Imamul Muttaqeen. But when we say Imam is the Imam of the righteous, because we are with his bayat, and we are his special, his beloved spiritual children. And can you imagine that first duashes Mola gives? What is that duashes? Mola says that I pray for your spiritual enlightenment. First duashes, and it's in Farman. And this was with youth, but I believe that in older, or the Didar hall for all the Jamaat, this was the emphasis in duashes, spiritual enlightenment. And then he says that I pray for your success in all your endeavors. But the most important duashes, the first duashes, is for our Ruhani Tarakki, that we may see the light in Ruhaniyat. So we have to realize that Maula Bapa is showing us the priority, what is important for us. And then Maula gives us duashes and he says that, he prays for our happiness, joy in our life. And Maula says that we may overcome all the challenges and problems, whatever we may encounter, whatever we are dealing with, any kind of problem. Maula says that his prayers are with us that we will overcome it. And we have complete iman that we will overcome it. And remember, mushkilat, difficulties are always given to us to help us to learn and to grow. And it becomes easier on us with duashis of Imam Zaman. And then Imam also gave us duashis about harmony in our families. And we talked about that in our Gujarati class as well, that we have to understand that, we used to hear the word unity, which Mawlānā Shāh Rahīm also used, but he also said harmony in our families, which is very important for us to reflect. Why would, Imam add these duashis? Are we united within our families? See, the worry is with Jamaat as well, as a global one Jamaat, and then within our communities, within our neighborhood, within our local Jamaat khanas, but even in our families. And I can relate here that Imam, the way Mawlānā Shāh Rahīm has emphasized about interfaith, Jamaati members, interfaith family members, and how Imam has said that we need to be inclusive. So this is one of the elements in our families which has made our families not be inclusive. Judgment, shame, guilt, all these things. Imam has, very clearly said that we all are families and we need to be united, live in harmony. And interfaith family members are supposed to be part of our families and Jamaat. They are to be included in every activity except the prayers time while we are saying dua in the prayer hall. Other than that, Everywhere they should be part of us as one Jamaat, as one family. And Imam also explained to us that it is nothing to do with secrecy. Do we think that our interfaith family members do not know what are the faramins of Imam, or what do we do in Jamaat Khana? They are family members, so they are aware. But then why the separation and not including them? Imam giving us duashes, harmony in our families. We have to have agreement, we have to have coordination, we need to be united in our families. And remember that there are those who asked me that we used to hear this Ginan, and we used to hear this explanation that Parnat Vyavhar na kijiye. That was the teaching guidance of our Peer hundreds of years ago. Currently, we do know interfaith family members are part of our families, and they are much more common. In fact, the statistics shows that every third marriage, now it's increasing to the second marriage, is outside Ismaili Jamaat. So we have to understand that this is the time of Qiyamah and things are changing, and we need to be inclusive. And Imam says, gives us prayer for harmony. So anybody, anywhere has any misconception due to the not understanding the current talimat of Qiyamat, that we are to be inclusive, one Jamaat, including our interfaith family members. So Mawla gives us duashes for harmony. Now we cannot limit harmony to that part only. Harmony in terms of, are we all taking care of each other, especially in our Jamaat, where elderly members in the families are not taken care of, senior members are not taken care of. We have to have harmony, meaning we have to have agreement and coordination in terms of taking care of whole family. If we have businesses together, finances together, how are we working that out? So all aspects we have to become Farman Bardar, meaning that each family, each individually first, and then each family, we need to identify, are we in disagreement? Are we in discoordination? This is the hidayat of Imam, this is the duashes. But when Imam gives us duashes, it is our duty that in order to become Farman Bardar, we have to take actions and we have to fix things if we are, not being inclusive, not being in agreement. So these are all important points which, Imam, when he gives us Faramin, he's teaching us, he's guiding us that this is what I expect. And if we want to elevate in Ruhaniyat, which we are, because we are all knowledge seekers, we are in this journey to elevate in Ruhaniyat. That's our objective. And this is Farman Bardari. Without Farman Bardari with conviction, there is no progress in Ruhaniyat. So we have to understand, why do we need to do this? So it is included in Farman Bardari. Then Imam also talked about future of our Jamaat. And Imam refers to his children, saying that they are the focus of his energy, they are the center of his life, they're the future of my family. Now, when Imam says that, Imam also says that I want them to learn to see what my activities are, what am I doing? Now, Imam being our role model, we are also learning that, are we taking care of our children in that way as well? Because they will learn from parents. We are responsible for their physical health, for their education, but we are also responsible for their spiritual health. We are also responsible for their mental, emotional health when they are with us. Of course, they become adult and then they are on their own. But when they are young, they are the future. So Imam, with his example, living example, is teaching us that this is what I am doing. So when we look at Mala Bapa, the way how affectionate he is with his children physically, and we can see in Batin he is same, and Mawlānā Shāh Rahīm has 1,000 times more. We cannot imagine, Imam Sultan Ahmad says, you cannot even imagine how much I love you. It is multiplied times to us. When we really have Batini eyes open up, we can see it, that how we are the focus of his energies. So there is a Zahir aspect and there is a Batin aspect. Zahir aspect for us to learn for our Zahiri life, physical life, but then also to realize that how much love he has for us in his heart. because we are his beloved spiritual children. And do we not know? Maulana Bapa, same as Shah Karim, same as Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, we see, said that I dedicate my life to you. So we have to really think and, reflect that Imam says, I dedicate my life to you. Then he's teaching us that how he's living his physical life, and then his actions, his work, his energies actually is focused on all the Jamaati programs. So how is he balancing? That's the biggest $1,000,000 question for us. How do we balance deen and dunya? And there is no dichotomy between deen and dunya. We know that. But these requires, reflection at individual level to be able to distinguish and bring balance to our lives. So Alhamdulillah, Maula Bapa, told us that why the focus of attention is younger generation, because these are formative periods of their lives. We form their personalities, their thinking, their worldview, their perspective. How are we playing that role for our younger Jamaat? Either parents, grandparents, or Jamaati members, or REC teachers, wherever, whoever we are. Imam talks about being relevant. Imam talks about choices. Whatever choices we make, it is for the future. So all these words, are actually like concepts, and each word can mean so many things for different individuals in different circumstances. And the more we reflect, we will come up with very many examples. But this work has to be done individually. And then as a Jamaat, we need to do that. Are we being relevant? Are we making the right choices? And what are those choices? And Imam actually tells us, Imam is teaching us from his Farman that we will be able to reflect that, what does it mean to be relevant? What does it mean to make right choices? So if we understand that, just take the example of his duashes. He prays for spiritual enlightenment. Is that a choice we are making? Is that the choice we are making for our children? Or we are leaving that only for his duashes? Because Mawla says that whatever choices we make now, and even for our youngsters, they being in the formative periods of their time, whatever choices they make now, it will have impact decades after. So all these things, matters. Whatever we chose 20 years ago or 30 years ago, it impacted our children's life. Did we do the right things? We can reflect and we can share our wisdom to our younger family members or younger Jamaat or our students in the light of Imam's Hidayat. There's so much more we can talk about. Inshallah, in your comments or questions, we can discuss more. But, we have a lot to cover, inshallah, whatever we can. Shukr. So Imam also talks about the bond. Our bond with Imam is permanent. It is not temporary. It's a permanent bond. I hope we understand what is permanent. Even the word permanent needs a reflection. We may see, oh, it is not Shah Karim, it is Shah Rahīm, as if there is a break, some kind of. But that bond which we have with Imam is permanent. There is no change. We renew our bayah for sure. But that bond of Imam with his murid is permanent. And how beautifully Mullah says, Imam cares for you. He watches over you. He prays for you. So there was a question, and that's why I said, okay, let me bring in Quranic verse. How does he watch over us? Because now, alhamdulillah, there are younger people who are attending these sessions and they're asking questions. So, it becomes more richer when we have younger Jamaati members asking questions. And, we can bring this Quranic verse here, which is a zikr itself, actually. So this is Surah Anam, chapter 16, verse 103. Beautiful verse, one of my favorite verse. It says, La tudrikul absaru wa huwa yudrikul absara wa huwa al-latiful khabir. Vision perceives him not, but he perceives all. We cannot see him. And what are we talking about? I mean, we saw in pictures, right? We heard Farmans, but when we talk about vision perceives him not, if we have not opened up our Batni eyes, we do not see how he is watching over us right now, every moment of our life. He says, I watch over you, I care for you. And he is. Quran also says that. So this is the verse actually he is teaching us about. So if we know the Quran, we can bring it with Farman's references too. Oh, here Imam is talking about this verse. That is also part of reflection and growth in studying. And that will come when we have Quranic knowledge. So Alhamdulillah, I would request Naveen Sahaba to teach us this zikr too, so we can do this zikr as well. La tudrikul absaru wa huwa yudrikul absara. As we used to do, wa huwa ma'akum aina ma kuntum. Wherever you are, he is with us. Right? So the more we do this askar, it increases our faith as well. And we are calling upon him, we are, talking to him, we are missing him, we are seeking his mercy and his didar. Vision perceives him not, but we want to perceive him. He is watching over us, but we want to see in batin as well. And he calls us, he invites us, spiritual enlightenment, first prayer. So Alhamdulillah, this is the one of the Quranic verse which is related to he watching over us. How? And then Mala Bapa continues to talk about this spiritual bond. He says, I care for you, right? Pray for you. So when we look at the word care for you, pray for you, and we see his prayers, right? First, it is a spiritual success, and then it is material success. And Imam says that your success and your happiness matters to me. I want you to be in joy. I want you to be happy because it gives him the satisfaction and joy. Can you imagine that? But I would like to emphasize that first is our spiritual well-being. And Imam has said in his Farman that I am, concerned about your economical, status, and I want you to do better in your economical status. Imam is also giving us hidayah. But we somehow, many at times, become selective listeners and focus on only what Imam is guiding for our worldly life, worldly success. But we, those who are here, we understand the importance of a spiritual life. And that's why we are, here. Otherwise, we listen to Farman. We may pay attention to the worldly things. But when Imam is saying that your success and happiness and well-being will give me joy and satisfaction, remember the first thing he gave us the washes was Ruhani Tarakki, spiritual enlightenment. And the bond, which is permanent bond, it is a spiritual bond which is permanent. Physically, we all are far apart. But in spirituality, we are one with Imam. So we have to again reflect on this bond. Do we feel that bond? Right? And Imam has said in the previous Farman that feel the presence of your Imam. How do we feel the presence of Imam? It is through that bond which we have with our Imam. Alhamdulillah. And then Imam gives us resources too, to study and to understand these things. Imam talks about our values and principles of our tariqah, which comes from Quran, from teachings of our Prophet, and from Faramins. Are we well versed with all these resources? I recall here, during the COVID, I remember kind of defending the importance of studying Quran. And there are friends who now come and join and they have no question, but I remember myself delivering a lecture saying Quran is for Ismailis. Because at that time, I was challenged. Look at Imam's Farman. First, he mentions Quran, not Ginans. Why? We have to reflect. That is what we need to do. We need to reflect. Why is he mentioning Quran first? Imam also talks about remembrance that we are Allah's creation. He is the creator of all. And then Mawla actually tells us that the values and principles of our tariqah, which comes from Quran, how do we express it? How do we show it? Imam says through our behavior, through our interactions. Whatever we learn from these sources Imam is referring to, we will show with our behavior. Behavior with who? First, with our own self. then our families, then our Jamaat, our work, co-workers, our, society, our country, wherever we live. Our behavior and our interactions will show. Mawlānā Shāh Rahīm used to say that you are my advocate. So wherever we are, how we carry ourselves, how we interact, how we talk, how we behave, we are all the time expressing what we have learned from the hidayat of Imam, the sources Imam tells us to learn from. Learn about our tariqah. Know the principles and values of our tariqah. And it comes from Quran, Hadith, and Faramins. So how do we express it? How humble we are, how ethical we are, how do we conduct ourselves in different and difficult situations, right? Do we help those in need? Imam guides us that help those who are in need. Be ethical, be true to the belief system, maintain values, no matter what, maintain values. I remember one of the youngsters saying to me some time ago that in business decisions are made, in our Jamaat, in casinos while drinking is going on. And if you don't drink, you're an outcast. You are not part of that group. You cannot climb up the ladder of businesses. And I'm not talking about all, but the one I had an interaction about, I heard about. So is that what we are doing? This is how our dealings are. Imam says, be fair in your dealings. Be true to what you believe. Know about our tariqah. All these things are important, how we are behaving, how we are interacting. If others are doing, we need to understand that our value system is not same as Western values. So in order to fit in does not mean that we have to compromise on our ethics and values. Mawlānā Shāh Rahīm has given us very many farman about ethics. So all these are important aspects of our lives where we have to reflect and what do we want in our lives? Are we only interested in worldly progress and worldly wealth, and we forget that we have to go tomorrow and answer to him? So depending where we are in our knowledge, that would be our actions. And those, at least when we are learning this, this knowledge, Tawili ilm, and reflecting on Imam's Faramins, each one of us is a dai to teach it whenever we see the opportunity. To tell our Jamaati members that Imam has guided us, that our behavior, our interactions have to be abiding by our value system. We believe in one God, we believe in Tawheed. We have Imam of the time giving us Faramin, Karan Joma Faramin, right? We have to practice according to the Talim of the Imam, Tawil of our Quran Sharif, given for us, from Tanzil and Tawil. You follow what I'm saying, right? Practicing dua, bandagi, zikr to purify our beings, right? So all these are values, recognition of Imam, being one Jamaat. And I remember Mawlānā Shāh Rahīm, the way he spoke in his message in this global encounters, that our voluntarism is our superpower. Our khidmat is our superpower. All these are our values. Are we following these values and understanding? We have to remember the hadith of our Prophet that seek knowledge from the cradle to grave. Knowledge is extremely important. And if we have knowledge, how we are, acting upon it. What is the amal? How is our amal? Honesty, integrity, compassion. All these are part of our daily life. Imam says, be generous and be kind. Be generous and be kind in what aspect, in what ways? That is very individual, actually, very, very individual. And as Jamaat in our, community, in our local Jamaat Khana as one Jamaat, look at those volunteers who are there in global encounters. It is only to please Imam. It is only to serve. They are serving everybody all over the world. Jamaat is gathered there and they are serving. They are generous with their time, with their energies. Be kind. Lots of migration is going on in our Jamaat as well. Are we being kind and generous with any and every ways and means for our Jamaati members? Mawla has guided us that work for the betterment of the world, right? So are we doing that? Are we being generous in doing that? So, Mawla also says that life is difficult. There are many pressures that we face every day, and it can be very difficult. Financial difficulties, health difficulties, not being able to fit in the society, standard of life, lack of, simplicity, so many things. It can be applied in so many different ways. And Mawla has said that the world has become secular, right? It is all about the physical and worldly things. Worldly success has become everything. Imam says, remember that it is not the most important thing. It is not your only goal in your life. Imam has clearly guided us that keep the spiritual part of your life alive and nurture it. Can there be any doubt about this guidance? How clear can Imam be? Right? Imam is giving us that guidance that the spiritual part is the most important part of your life. Worldly, progress is important, but that's not the only goal. Many of our youngsters feel that way. And Imam has lifted the burdens from their shoulders. Imam has given them, duashes that, may their burdens be, have some ease in it. And Mawla gives them duashes of strength and comfort. And then Imam says, how? Imam explains it. How? Through the remembrance. Notice Allah in everything around you. Notice Allah in everything around you. Do we remember that how Mawlānā Shāh Karim's Farman, this is Farman of Islamabad, Pakistan, 14 December 2017. Please recite the Salawat Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Keep in mind also that in Islam, education is not for material purpose. Education is first to learn about Allah's creation. That is the fundamental purpose of education in Islam. After that, your education is used for your own activities in your daily lives. But in Islam, education is first to learn about Allah's creation. Now, what does that mean? That means to learn about human life. As you learn about human life, then we need to put that learning into our benefit. And Imam guides us that to benefit yourself, your families, your future generations. But this learning and this benefit, is it limited to only physical life or physical education, secular lives? What does it mean to learn about Allah's creation? And Hazrat Imam is saying that everywhere, wherever you see, you will see only see Allah's creation. See Allah in creation everywhere around you. You have to reflect about that. Do we see that or not? Beautiful verse in Quran, Imam is teaching us about 41/53. It says, Sunurihim ayatina fil afaki wa fi anfusihim hatta yatabayyana lahum annahu al-haq. Until you see the truth. Khuda Ta'ala says in Quran that we show our signs in macrocosm and microcosm, outside in the universe and within ourselves, until we see the truth. So have we opened up our eyes with knowledge and wisdom to be able to see the truth outside and inside us? Do we see Allah everywhere or not? Then we have another verse here, 3/190. Inna fi khalqis samawati wal arzi waqtila fil layli wan nahari la ayatil li ulil albab. In the creation of the heavens and the earth and the alteration of the night and the day are signs for those of understanding. I remember this verse we have discussed in so many different aspects. But here I wanted to emphasize that people of understanding, those who use their intellect, and Book of Healing, we have talked about it in such great detail. I think every teacher has talked about it, these verses. Do we incorporate these verses when we reflect on Imam's Farami and understand that how Mawla teaches us about Quran and Quran teaches us about Imam's guidance? It is one and the same. Another beautiful verse, 51/20 says, وَفِي الْأَرْضِ آيَاتٌ لِلْمُوقِنِينَ. And on the earth are signs for the certain. जो ईमान वाले हैं उनके लिए बहुत सी निशानियां हैं. ईमान चाहिए. To see his nishani, we need the iman. Mawla says that I know it is difficult to youngsters, that it is hard to come to Jamaat Khana, but whenever you can, come and pray together. And if you're not able to, wherever you are, contemplate. Do we remember same Faramins of Shah Karim, Mawlana Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah? We will. But whenever we can, Imam says, come and pray together. And I can tell you something which I had heard in Dallas, that youngsters would get together in one of the home, not go to Jamaat Khana, but they would get together and pray together, all youngsters. And of course, when I came to know about it, I was very surprised. And I said, why would you do that? Why would you not go to Jamaat Khana? And it was very interesting what I learned, that they said, we don't want pressure. We don't want to be seen. As soon as we walk in, Waro committee will walk behind us. We just want to be. Can we be? And I was so shocked to hear that. And, being older in Jamaat, probably we may think, oh, we want them to be involved. But there are different individuals, different youths who want different things. Are we respecting their privacy or their individualism? They want to pray, but they want to pray in an environment where there is no judgment. Can you imagine? Lots of, youths have talked about guilt and shame. And that's how I talk about it, because, this has been expressed very clearly. Why does this exist? So we have to really change and understand that how are we talking about these things? And this is Imam telling them. Imam says, I'm going to invest in making more Jamaat Khanas, build more Jamaat Khanas. So Jamaat Khana is important. Attendance to Jamaat Khana is important. But see how Imam is talking about it and how we may make our youngsters around us guilty about it. Everybody, when they become adult, they are responsible for their own faith. We have to teach when they are young, because those are formative periods. But after that, no guilt, no shame. Let them be. And Mawlana Hazim Imam says, I understand your challenges. I understand your difficulties, and I pray for you. Imam says, I have no expectations. Wherever you are, just remember, just remember. So let them connect to Imam the way they want to connect. So we as Jamaati members have to be careful with constant expectations and, how we are talking about attendance to Jamaat Khana, because that's what we learned. We grew up with that. Attendance to Jamaat Khana was the most important thing. But look at the world we live in. We grew up, most of us, I believe, grew up in colonies where Jamaat Khana was within the colony. Morning and evening, we would walk to Jamaat Khana. That is not the life today for our children. But in these knowledge classes, we have talked about how do we spend our 23 hours to be ready for the 24th hour? How do we stay in remembrance for 23 hours? How are we connected to our faith, our Imam? And Imam says, whenever you have opportunity, stay in remembrance. So we also have to think that this is Imam's hidayat, and how do we talk to our kids, right? So Imam is guiding to our Jamaat and young kids that I want you to keep your spiritual life in good health. Imam says, I understand you, you cannot come to Jamaat Khana, but he gives profound guidance to them in the same Farman, that keep your spiritual life in good health, care for it, nurture it, attend to it. So Imam is communicating the expectations, the guidance and hidayat to them, that this matters, this is very important. And they are smart, intelligent youths in Jamaat, youngsters in Jamaat, and they understand. And Imam says, keep that good health in check. And here I would say that, how blessed we are that every Saturday we study the book of healing. And that healing is not physical healing, it is a spiritual healing, intellectual healing. Keeping the spiritual life in good health. Care for it, nurture it, attend to it. Even if we were to have a plant at home, we have to make sure we are watering it time to time and, cutting the, dead leaves or whatever. Our own being, the part which is spiritual life, we many times forget that there are, three parts within us. We are physical being, spiritual being, and intellectual being. We have to really dedicate time to care for it, nurture it, and attend to it. It cannot be less important. It cannot have less dedication to our physical or material lives. And Imam guides them very carefully that your spiritual lives are strengthened when you have an intellectual engagement with your faith. Ruhaniyat is connected to the knowledge part, the intellectual engagement. Because when we don't have knowledge, how do we even care for our spiritual health? So how beautifully, in such a concise words, it is amazing. We can unfold and talk about it for hours. But we are, of course, with time limitation, we are trying to, get all these things done. Again, for us individually to have enough material to continue to reflect what Imam is guiding us, right? Then Imam, when we are talking about intellectual engagement, Imam says that this will help increase your understanding. And Imam is also asking us to have access to excellent educational materials, which are available on our faith and history. Imam says, you have access now. Do we have access? Do we know about these educational materials? Imam says, learn about your tariqah. So for us, it is important to know about our faith and there are our own history, our culture, our community history from our literature. We do not live in the same culture. We live in different countries now. We are spread out from our roots, our different countries. Imam also says that learn that from your elders in Jamaat. Our elders have to be part of youngsters' lives. All the resources Imam is guiding. And Imam says this will help you to be clear and confident about your identity. Why? Because our youngsters are struggling with that. To learn about our faith is to know about Quran as well. If our children are growing up with Christian, children or Jewish children, they have their books always with them. Do our kids have their Quran with them? Have we given them that talimat? Everywhere when we go to hospitals or anywhere, we will see, books of Bibles there. Do we have in our home, each individual's, Quran copy for us? If not, why? Isn't that our identity? That is our book, Quran. It cannot be Ginan. It is Quran. Ginan is very important tradition of our Jamaat. But remember, with Ginan, we cannot connect. We are Muslims and our book is Quran. So when Imam says to know about our faith, we need to know about Quran and the Tawili Talim of the Quran as well. And then our culture, our history. And we should not have any confusion about our roots, our values and beliefs. And Mawlānā Shāh Karim's Farman, I remember Mullah says that we live in a different world with different values. That does not mean that we blindly take all the values. We take what is good, which is not good, we leave it away. So we grow. We should study our heritage. We should know about our family, history, culture, languages, tradition, all part of our identity. And our elders can play a big role in helping our youngsters to know their identity. So again, it is important for us to reflect, spend time, studying these resources which Imam is guiding us to. And, I'm looking at the time, let me move on. So I think we got the gist of it. So, of course, Imam lastly talks about gratitude. Give thanks for his bounties in our lives. Imam says, call his name. Stay in remembrance. Call in his name, Prophet, in Pagambar's name, Imam's name. Call upon Prophet Muhammad and Imam's name. And beautifully, Imam says that remembrance will polish your hearts. Remembrance will polish your heart. Which Quranic verse would you relate to? We heard about that on Sunday. I would like you to put it in chat. Does anybody remember what we discussed? And then Imam says, above all, we should have peace in our heart. Live in peace, because our faith is a faith of peace. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, we are truly, truly, truly blessed with Mawla's mercy and his hidayat. And believe me, we've just touched upon few things. There is so much more in his Farami. And we, continue to, tomorrow is Chandra, so we listen to Farman again, and we have to reflect again and think about it and apply at all different levels. So I think I should end here so we can have some good question discussion. Alhamdulillah. Thank you.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. Shukran lillah, alhamdulillah. It is truly amazing that, even for how 1 hour goes, it just doesn't feel like it. It feels like never stop, because, these are such important things that at times that alone when we are reading it, I think we don't reflect it the way, it was done, so it helps give us the idea on how to go about it, how to take each line and reflect on it, that how does it apply to me, my family, how it applies to my daily living. Let that be work, or let that be Jamaat Khana, or any other things I do. And I remember Mawlānā Shāh Rahīm Salatullah Alayhi's Farman, Mullah said in San Antonio that it cannot be 1 to 2 I'm going to do ibadat or zikr, and then 2 to 3 I'm going to do my worldly things. There are a lot of things which Mawlānā Shāh Rahīm also said that consistently we need to be in remembrance. And, Imam is always with us. And I remembered Maulana Sultan Muhammad Shah said, while your parents are watching you, how can you do something which is not appropriate? So every time, however, the Jamaat was at the level of understanding, we were reminded. It became gentle and gentle, and the way Mullah here said that, feel my presence. It is truly a beautiful feeling to even hear it. And I think I'm sure there are a lot of us who keeps reminding that one sentence um, in our heart, to just feel that, Ya Mullah, you are with us. So Alhamdulillah. And truly this Jama Mullah has connected very, he is the king of the world. So no doubt about it that he knows, but he has connected very differently with the youths. And not just where he gave the didar, but overall, I think when Jamaati youths have listened to the Farman constantly, the feedback is very different, and they're very joyous and happy talking about it. So Alhamdulillah, it is a great feeling for every parent, I think, who sees. So Alhamdulillah. Here, friend has given the reference you asked for. Ala bi zikrillahi tatmainul qulub.
Mubarakbad. That was it I was referring to.
Alhamdulillah. Verily, everything has a polish, and the polish of the heart is the remembrance of Allah Almighty. Alhamdulillah. Friends, chat is open, and if you would like to come forward to share any question, comment, or reflection, you can come forward. Alhamdulillah.
Anything which touched your heart and it was like different for you, that you did not reflect on it like that, even from outside this, and you heard something in
Yeah,
Farman.
that. Yeah, I mean, the speech by Prince Ali Muhammad was very, very heart touching. At I mean, very nicely spoken. Of course, he always speaks nice, but it really touched several people's heart. I just wanted to make a comment.
Thank you. Yeah, he said that we have lost Imam and I've lost my father, but the guidance, the Imam, the Nur of Hidayat is with us. So yes, it was beautiful when we heard it. Yes, thank you.
Any other reflections from Farmans, from youth Farman, anything? Come forward, please.
Let me ask you one thing. I missed some part of your lecture when Hazir Imam said that I give him for my children and I want them to mix with the Jamaat. What was the inner meaning or tawil? I mean, this I love my children and you love your children and spiritual children, but he said that I'll be spending considerable time and I want them to mix with the Jamaat.
Believe it or not, actually, I recall another incident. I'm going to explain that and then you will get your answer. Mawlānā Shāh Rahīm, when Princess Zara was only 12 years old, and there were some Amaldaran who went to meet with Mawla Papa at that time. And some of the, a lady there, she asked Princess Zara, so what storybooks are you reading at night time? What books are you reading? And Princess Zara smiled and she said, my dad gives me Aga Khan Foundation reports to read. So that's what I study at night time. That's what I read. And she got shocked. That's what Hazrat Imam is telling us. That from this young age, he is making these princes, responsible, understand the burden of the duty, actually. And we see the whole Nurani family, the whole family of Imam is involved in all the mission and the work of Imamat. Each individual member is involved. And that's what Imam is showing us, teaching us. So in other words, for us, there are multiple, understanding that if we are parents, grandparents, how do we teach our children what is important in life? And then how to start becoming responsible at a very young age. In our Jamaat, due to whatever has happened in the past and the way we have become very materialistic, and how we are, alhamdulillah, worldly wise, we have done well with Imam's Hidayat. But this time, I think it is high time that we are seeing that because of the migration and whatever Jamaat went through, we had to come to different countries and whatever happened, we have lost that focus, that what matters the most, which is spirituality, which is the voluntarism, which is, using our intellect to learn about our tariqa, our faith, understanding our value system. So from very young age, Imam is teaching that to his boys. So that is what Imam is showing us, that we need to do that too.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good explanation. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Shukran.
Alhamdulillah. We have Naila Saiba. She says that I found it quite amazing how the same essence of our faith has been articulated in a new way. That the remembrance will polish the hearts.
And it is truly, we need to reflect that. Can you imagine And I was thinking actually that we started from COVID and our beginning was from zikr sessions, right? Every day we used to do zikr session. And alhamdulillah, now we also do zikr session on daily basis. There are few who truly come forward and take interest and learn pronunciation and working hard to do that because they understand and they want to follow the Farman with conviction. Remembrance will polish the heart which is full of callousness, with all the worldly love influenced by the carnal soul. And we are here, those who seek knowledge. And we are seeking purity and we want to polish our heart. And guess what? It is through remembrance. We have individual remembrance during the daytime, whenever we can remember, but we get together and we remember together and we continue to learn new verses. So, we are growing as well. And by that practice, we are removing the callousness of heart. The way P says, kapda dhove so kya hua, dil dhove so paave. One of the meaning of this Gyanan is as well is that how do we make our heart pure and connect to Imam? It is through remembrance. So we have to realize that when we do remember Imam and it melts our heart and we are able to do Girya Uzari, Alhamdulillah, it is cleaning and polishing our heart. If we were to have a gold, if we were to have this, and we are polishing it, it shines, it's beautiful. Same will be the shine in our heart and soul. And if we are shining like that, what does that mean? We'll attract the light of Imam. Meaning what? Our inner senses will open up. Meaning what? We'll be able to see his didar. So can you imagine how step by step we are moving forward when we understand remembrance will polish your heart.
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah.
Niamat said, he did also talk about, remember, he said bayat, that was that permanent bond with us, then the polish, the remembrance. He also mentioned about identity and potential. So that identity, what do you mean by identity and that potential? Like, is it we are ashraful makhluqat, that potential?
Yes, that we have that potential in us to be the Khalifa according to the Quranic language. We are, in our Gyananic language, or let's look at that hadith, right? That man arfa nafsihi faqad arfa rabba, right? That the one who recognizes themselves will recognize the Lord. So that potential which we have, if we recognize, we can actualize it, right? And we've been talking about all these things. Yes, it could, we can take the example of the spark that we have, that spark. Alhamdulillah, all these are beautiful way of connecting what we have learned, and Imam Faramin's, his words are helping us connect more dots to understand it. So yes, you are very beautifully connecting it. Thank you. I saw Zara's hands raised. Ji Zara.
Yeah, Madad. Wonderful class, Niamat. About question or maybe a reflection that at least I don't remember, but Hazri Mom is giving a tasbih to everybody individually, and that's one way of him saying remembrance. Keep it with you all the time. That was so touching to me. The Mawla is literally saying, I will give you a tasbih now. That is precious right there.
Subhanallah. Thank you for reminding, because he actually gave hidayat to Amal Daran institution that give tasbih from my behalf. And Imam said, you will receive tasbih. Can you imagine that Imam giving physical tasbih? Do you remember Mawlānā
Shāh
Shāh? Give him
Rahīm
a
used to say,
exactly.
the women and the men should have tasbih.
Yes,
And
exactly. You caught
he is
my
literally
words.
walking and saying, no,
Yes.
I will give it to you now.
Yes. So Shah Karim saying that men, if they were to put their hands in their pocket, they will touch the tasbih. Women put their hands in the purse, they will touch the tasbih. It will remind them, right? And remind what? To stay in remembrance, so your hearts are polished. Mawlānā Hazri Imam said, give them a gift of tasbih. Why? Because our youth may not carry tasbih anymore. It is out of fashion. We don't know, right? Mawla knows everything. So they received physical Zahiri tasbih to remind them that this was the hidayat of Imam. Do you have your tasbih with you all the time? This is what Mawla gave you. Remember, everything starts physically. So that's why I said that, do we have physical Quran? Do we have physical tasbih dedicated for each family member? Everything starts physically. Then we have the next step. So Imam doing that physical action of them receiving a tasbih from Imam, stay in remembrance. So your hearts are polished. So you find joy. So you find happiness and peace in your heart. So Imam's actions are so miraculous, so beautiful. Yeah? And we have to understand, we are those who regularly connect, get together in knowledge classes. So for us, it is like, it should be amazing, profound guidance that and gratitude, that shukr Mawla, that we understand the importance of zikr. But we want more and more our family members, our Jamaati members to realize the importance of learning and doing zikr. This is Imam's Hidayat. So thank you for bringing a very beautiful point for us to again reflect and remind ourselves that why do we do zikr mehfil? Why do we want to do more and more zikr? Why are we working so hard to learn the proper pronunciation? It is not easy at our ages when it's very difficult for me to be able to say clearly proper pronunciation of Arabic. But we try, we work hard to do that. And there is no shame in that, because it is the hidayat of our Imam. Mawla's hidayat is more important for us than anybody and judging us or whatever. It does not matter. I am here to please my Imam. That's how we need to think, and that's how we have to participate in zikr mehfil. And we have to pray that Mawla melt my heart so I experience that joy, that spiritual enlightenment which you are praying that we would receive. Amin, Mawla.
Ameen, alhamdulillah. There are a few comments by the friends, and then there is Fernula Saba shared the translation of the verse 1328. Those who have believed and whose hearts are assured by the remembrance of Allah, unquestionably, by the remembrance of Allah, hearts are assured.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah.
We have another hand raised by Shenaz.
Yes, thank you so much for raising. Sorry, my throat is not that good, but thank you for raising the question about treating our youth without shaming them. Because I came across one young man and he was going through some mental health challenges and due to a traumatic childhood, and he somehow got the courage to go to Kane that day. And this particular person told him, "You don't even work. How come you wear such nice clothes?" This poor guy had just got the courage to come to Kane. And these are the intrusive questions people ask. So I think we should be very cognizant of our own behavior as elders.
Yeah.
I have 3 young professional children. Well, they are young adults now, but they don't like to be questioned like that.
Yeah.
We have to make them part of the community. We have to improve ourselves and our adab, our akhlaq towards them, right?
You are
So that's
absolutely correct.
yes.
It
Thank
is.
you for raising that. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
really want to emphasize, because I have talked to so many youths and I have heard the same thing, shame and guilt, shame and guilt.
yes.
It is horrible that our elder, and we are those elders, okay? It's not others who are talking, it's us. How we look at them, how we talk to them, how we judge them. We don't give them space. They have no privacy. We are intrusive, so it is just not nice. It is just not being kind. It is just not, it is horrible, so we have to grow and learn. And there is a clash of culture as well. We have to understand
yes.
that, we grew up in the culture where everybody was in everybody's business.
Yes, exactly.
That is not the culture of our children.
No.
Yeah, so we have to understand that, right?
Exactly. And in their professional lives, people are not that intrusive. They're very respectful. And when they come to Kane and we treat them like that, it's
horrible.
terrible. Yes.
And that is the reason. It is not in one country or in one Jamaat Khana that the youths do not like to go to Jamaat Khana. It is everywhere.
Exactly.
And why
Exactly.
would that be? We really need to have that discussion in our elder Jamaat that we really need to change our behaviors.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
so we
And
really
even sorry, and even with adults, like I am retired now, and due to health reasons, sometimes I can't make it to Khane. And when you do somehow get the courage and himmat to go, people will first question, "Do they kind of think it?" Things like that. We have to be very aware that people are going through their own worldly issues. And rather than making them feel welcome and say, hello, nice to see you, or whatever little thing, people are very intrusive, I find, in our community.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
So we need to, I'm glad that you're bringing it up, and I hope that by, discussing it here, we will be very mindful. Even if we are like 50 here and we become mindful, we will continue to affect other people, and we need to be, very mindful. And really, it's high time we have got to change and learn. We really have to. Ji Zara.
Just want to ask a question then on that base, that Maula's opening more Jamaat Khanas, that he said, youth don't feel comfortable or secure coming to Khani. And we're telling them, let them get their space. But how do we inculcate faith in them when we tell them, you decide, you have your space? Because like in my Khani, I'll see a bunch of kids on their phone all the time, and I know it's prayer time. So you want to separate that time, and you want to tell them that, keep that away. Dua time is dua, and then you can use your phone. But if that's the correction, if you put to the child, and then it says, oh, she's Baima and she keeps, telling us, don't do this, do that. But how do you coach them now? Where
So
it's a point where you cannot enter their space.
no, you should enter. Remember, when children are younger, it is important to teach. When they're older, I don't think we should interfere. I need you to understand that. When they're younger, number one, Imam also made he gave clear guidance about the screen time. He referred to his children, his boys, that he doesn't allow them screen time, right? Because it is not good for them. So, oh, you have a phone? Wonderful. I like your phone. You know what? May I request you to use it after Jamaat Khana, please? Simple as that. You're not reprimanding them, you're not scolding them, you're just requesting. Can you use it afterwards? I know you have lots of messages, you need to look at it. Can you look at it afterwards? It's the request. And if they listen, wonderful. If they don't, do not judge anybody. Do not judge anybody. There are issues in our youngsters. Mental health wise, there are challenges, we know that. And anybody's doing whatever or what kind of clothes they're wearing, we should not be doing, telling them. We should be positive, kind, welcoming, and let them be. So I would say that the way we talk, it matters. The way we approach, it matters. But then let them be. If they are there physically, and the way you said, it's so interesting. You said Maula Papa is opening up Jamaat Khana. Who's going to go to Jamaat Khana? That's what you are asking, actually. Believe it or not, Imam will guide them, and they will find their ways to Jamaat Khana. We have to do our job, learn how to speak to our youngsters in a non-judgmental way. Because the way you ask the question, remember, we are learning, we are judging them, that how dare you use phone in Jamaat Khana? No, I'm not going to judge. We have to learn that non-judgmental behavior. I see you have phone, beautiful phone. Can I request you not to use it, please? So, total approach change, no judgment. If you have to use it, you're using it. Why don't you sit at the back and use it? Everybody's saying dua, others are distracted by it. So you have to find ways and means to talk to them non-judgmentally. And it is hard because it requires us to learn. It requires us to become, more vulnerable. And we are not willing to do that. There's a stubbornness in us being older. So there is a lot we need to learn. They have to learn, but we have to learn too. Naveen Sahaba is telling me to end the session here. Ji Naveen Sahaba.
जी अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह. Just wanted to share अमीना साहबा का point बहुत अच्छा है कि मौला ने हमें याद दिलाया कि 48 Imam loved books. So we need to encourage that we encourage our kids to have book and reading time as well.
Yes, not the screen time all the time. And you know, the way Maafi Naveen Sabha, the way we elders, people are hooked up, addicted to their phones. If they do not find the phone in their pockets or purses, there have been trouble. Imam is saying replace those phones with tasbih. So we also have to learn that, you know, it is not the youngsters only, they have to read books. We have to read books and we have to detach from the screen times as well. Everybody's hooked up to WhatsApp and messages and everybody's forwarding. We have to really, it's high time, wake up. How much time we are spending in zikr and learning. Maafi Naveen.
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. Thank you, Niamat Saba, for such a wonderful session. I think everybody has benefited and enjoyed thoroughly. Inshallah, we'll continue to reflect and have more sessions on Mawlā's Farman. Thank you so much for sharing your time and knowledge. Ya Ali Madad, Ya Ali Madad.
Yeah,
Ali
limited them.
Madad.
Beautiful.
Yeah, Limata, thank
Yeah,
you.
Ya Madad, wonderful.
Madad.
Thank you
Shukran.
again, Mazagya.
Shukran.
Ya Ali
Shukran.
Madad.
Yali Madad.
Yali Madad, friends. Yali Madad.